Hey everyone, good morning and happy International Women's Day 2020. So today is another story time, and I'm really excited for today because about 3 years ago, my business coach, when I first started my business, actually had me make a video for Women's International Day, and I was so scared. I wasn't used to making videos, and I didn't know what to say. I had a lot to say, I just didn't know what my message was. And over time, what I've learned in between, speaking and collaborating and just, finding different multiple streams of income, I've learned just to speak my truth. And a very important part of that is actually what I'm wearing today, which I launched in the jewelry line that was to advocate for mental health from the Vida Inc. shop. And this necklace particularly is CEO, and it has so much meaning behind it, especially for today. So I'm going to share with you guys that the first time I ever heard the term SHECEO, instead of the C, the she in front of it, I was like, whoa, that's a new concept for me at least. And the reason I'm sharing that is because today on Women's International Day, I really just want to encourage women and really celebrate them, embrace them, and really empower them to know that you are capable of doing anything it is you want to do. And even though, strong women in my life growing up would tell me, Z, you can do anything it is you want to do, there was a double standard there. I grew up in a Latino household, two Mexican parents. I was first generation here in this country. My parents didn't speak the language at the time. And it was so difficult, growing up and them giving me a double standard of, you should go to school, educate yourself, don't depend on a man, but don't do too much, don't get crazy. And why I say this is because, when I did my bachelor's, they clapped for me, right? And when I did my bachelor's, I was already working as a hair and makeup artist, and that was perfectly okay with them. They gave me their acceptance. And before I really understood that the real acceptance should come from myself, I hustled for theirs. And there's many times I still hustle for their approval. If I make something or I cook something, I'm like, Mom, did you like it? And if she does or doesn't, now I realize that's her, that's not me. And going into this, when I decided to do a master's, it was as if I had disappointed my parents. It's as if I had said, actually, I'm choosing this, and they were sad. They didn't take it quite well because it was a counseling field, and therapy was literally a dirty word in my family. They told me, I wish you would have done anything else other than this. I can't believe you're going to spend, $65,000 just on a master's to go to learn to talk to people. You can do that for free. And at the time, I didn't know if to laugh or to cry. I really don't, because I had no support with it, and I still chose my purpose. I still chose it. And here's where things got really interesting, and they got a little tough. So I finished school, and I ended up working at my agency, and then my parents at the time had already kind of just gotten used to it, and my family, and they're like, oh, okay, well, she's a counselor, she helps people, habla con gente, she talks with people, right? And it was still okay because I was helping la comunidad, I was helping the people, I was working with señoras. They were okay with it because they saw the cultural aspect of it. And then the moment where I decided to leave my agency and decided to make my own, decided to establish an entity and literally become a CEO of my own company, that's where I truly saw where my family's double standards were and what their beliefs were and their limiting ideas. When I told them that I established my own company, half of my family clapped for me, and half of the others stood still and said, but you're a woman. And that's where I realized the power that something like today has to really encourage and empower women, to really let them know by role modeling, by telling your daughters, if they're listening to this, tell them today that you will see much more role models, women of color, women who are out there and they're doing their thing. And it's perfectly okay, and it's normal, and it's encouraged, because I didn't get that. You see, my mother, she's very educated, but there's double standards within the culture. And when they finally saw that I was actually going to go through with it and do my entity and really just run with it, they didn't know what to say to me. They instilled me with so much ideas of fear and of, what if it fails? What if, you're the only woman that's trying to do this? Or it's because they don't know any better, and it's because they didn't know anything else. Here I am 2.5 years out, and they 100 fully support me. At least my immediate family does. And my family that's outside the country in Mexico, they're still trying to wrap their head around the idea that I am a CEO and I run my own company and I don't have anywhere to clock in and clock out, and my own paycheck comes from my own worth and my own work ethic. And a lot of my family members that are female chose to be domestic engineers and chose to raise a family, and both are equally valuable. And what I'm saying is that women can choose to do both at the same time. They can choose not to have children and still be as valuable. That's perfectly okay. So this necklace here that you see has so much more meaning than anybody would ever know. Each one of them that we made has a lot of meaning. So that's why today I am wearing this, so you guys can get to know me a little bit more, the empowerment that you guys can give to women. And if you are a woman, clap for yourself today. If you know a woman, go ahead and celebrate her. And if you have a daughter, may you encourage her, may you influence her.